morning, good afternoon for some, next day for others. Howdy. Oh, such crazy weather all over the world, I guess. But here in Idaho, we got 70 plus inches of snow, and then we get rain and dreary days and some rain and some flurries and some rain. Today it's pretty dreary. Looks kind of cool though. Clouds are on the mountain. You can see them out there. The mountain's peeking through at the very top. Yeah, so it's a dreary day. Taking lots of vitamin D at this point because I'm a sunshine girl and I'm not getting any. So, got a good topic today. I hope you guys are all doing well. Still lots of craziness going on in our world, and I'm sure many of you are feeling that. Crazy stuff. Good morning, Miss Mill. How's it in Colorado? Still lots of craziness going on in our world. Snow, rain, what you got going on? I know you were getting dumped on pretty good too. Those of you that are joining and that are watching the replay and are from Utah, oh, you guys need to do some stepping up and some planting the feet and some making your voice be heard, because your Tribune is wanting all those unvaxxed people to end up in camps. And Washington's doing the same thing, only Washington's not doing it so loudly. They're just hiding it in bills. So, be careful, guys. Pay attention. Lots of stuff going on. I don't know about you, but I don't want my family ending up in no camp. And I certainly imagine none of you do either. So, pay attention to what's happening around you. Keep stocking up. Keep preparing forward. Don't do any of those living out of your pantry challenges right now. Fill your pantry. Miss Shelley says, hi there, have an appointment in 10 minutes. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you can join us for 10 minutes. I love you. And Shelley's had some exciting things happening in her days. And how are you guys all doing? What's it like in your neck of the woods? I know the East Coast is going to be getting some snow and storms coming through. I just know it's supposed to be just like blasé here. So it's good for me because I am working on 7 web clients right now kind of simultaneously. So I need to be steadfast. So when I'm off of here, my laptop will be open and I will be glued to it for the remainder of the day. Did much of my chores yesterday and was working yesterday too, but there's always stuff to do, right? So Miss Mill says, can't stay long, signing paperwork today. So many blessings to you all. Yes, sister, that's good news. That is really good news. Huge praise. Shelley says, I'm trying to refill things in the pantry as I use it. Yep. And, you know, even just keeping extra sitting behind what you've already got. Keep stocking up, guys. Keep stocking up. Some of you were jumping on when I shared this, but if you're from Utah, plant your feet, hold the line, hold the line. I don't know how he says his last name, but Sean Frucht, I think is how he says it. He's a pastor, an artist and writer. He's operating Hold the Line on Instagram and has been sharing some pretty good stuff there too. But Utah, one of the Tribunes there, shared it in our community here on YouTube, the link to the video on it. But you know, they wrote a huge headline article wanting Utah's governor to seek out all the unvaxxed and put them in a camp. And Miss Mill found the article on Washington doing the same thing, but a little bit more discreetly in one of their bills. It's been pretty awesome, though, to see a lot of people stepping up. We have some pretty exciting people stepping up to the plate here in Idaho, running for office, and that is really promising. You know, even Idaho to us when we moved here was the state to be. But as people move in and agendas start getting moved around and put into place, things change. So really pay attention to what's happening in your surroundings. Really make a difference where you can, guys. Shelly said last night's event still has me in a great peace. I bet. Let me know if I can share that. If you'd rather not, that's fine. But it was an amazing event for Miss Shelly. Miss Shelly is walking out God's will in her life, and pretty awesome. Miss Diana, thank you. She says, remember to give a thumbs up. Yes, please. Really appreciate your interactivity with us on these videos, especially live. It's so nice to be able to get to know you guys and to communicate and everybody share here. Be sure to subscribe too. We really want to make a difference this year more than ever, and would love to have you join our community. When you subscribe here, make sure that you hit the notification bell so you know when I'm going live, but also when I'm uploading videos. There's about 9 videos in the queue right now and a whole bunch more being edited and recorded. Join our community, TrayerWilderness.com/community. Awesome place to fellowship, awesome place to learn and share. And also, we hold a Bible study every Thursday evening, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. You can find out about that at TrayerWilderness.com/Bible Study Book Club. Also do a Kids Corner every Friday at 2:30 Pacific Standard Time. You can find more out about that at TrayerWilderness.com/Kids Corner. And this Friday, we will be starting Patricia Harmon's 3rd book. Lost on Hope Island is a fabulous book for both kids and adults, walking you through a preparedness situation. It's pretty awesome. Really have been enjoying it. Love Patricia. She is an awesome lady. And we're going to start that last Friday, but we needed to cancel last Friday. So if your kids are interested, they can join and participate live. They can also watch the replays. So great opportunity there, and I would love to have you all go over and sign up for our waiting list for our membership, TrayerWilderness.com/membership. We will be teaching everything we do here at the membership, in depth, hardcore, and are feeling very led to do so. So let me see here. Diana or Mill, would you go into our group chat and let Bobby know that I am live right now, please? Mill says, actually in Washington, their law was installed in 2003, so it's already in place there. Yeah, ours went into place here in Idaho in 2019. I don't know if it's still in place because there was a lot of battling on that, but it was more so focused on the kids, not the adults. And that kids could be ripped away from their families, and there was no obligation of the state to let the parents know where the children were or how they're doing. So you really need to pay attention. I think that has been taken out because there was huge battle over that. Okay, Shelly says I can share. Awesome. Shelly does at-home care for people that are in need of home care and are typically in their last days or heading in that direction. And she was sitting with her patient last night, and he expressed he just expressed that he was going to hell. And it was because he was in a war, had to fight for his existence and, had to kill people and felt that he would be going to hell. So he was making that judgment call for himself. And Shelly spoke into that very heavily and left them both in a very great place of peace. We need to realize that God forgives our sins. We don't always forgive ourselves, but God forgives our sins, and God is the ultimate decision maker. And we need to seek God and seek his forgiveness. And, he knows all of our actions, but he wants the relationship. He wants us to seek him for forgiveness. And when asked, we receive his forgiveness and we receive eternal life. So, Shelley's job holds her in a place where she is using her superpower and has the ability to speak into the lives of those that are preparing to leave this earth. So it is an amazing thing, and I praise God on that. And I just saw Keith join, and he has the opportunity to do the same. So it's just a very awesome thing when God puts us in a position. And to me, I mean, we all have that opportunity every day, but as a profession and as something that God blessed these people with as a superpower, they have that ability to speak into many lives that may not be getting spoken into or have not. I mean, these people that Shelley deals with are, 70s, hundreds, there's a range, but sadly, their whole life, nobody spoke into that and shared that peace with them. The beautiful thing is we could be living out a life of peace at any age if we are willing to accept the truth from God and also forgive ourselves. So remember the power you guys have. And Shelley, that's just tremendous. So excited about that. I'm trying to catch up here. Mill says, hey, Shelley, I miss you, lady. Stay well, sister. Awesome. I love it. Yes, Shelley has been missing our Bible studies due to work. Shelley says, I'm going to my naturopath today, so working on it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Keith says, greetings from New Zealand. Hi, all. Nice warm rain here this morning. It is dreary and damp here, so send me some sunshine, my friend. Mill says, I left Bobby a message. Gotta run. Love to you all. Love you, lady. Good luck. Excited for you. Congrats. Okay, so Shelley says, I have to go now. Hopefully I can watch later. Have a wonderful, blessed day, everyone. You as well, sister. Good luck. Keep doing what you're doing. So how are things in New Zealand? Keith has mentioned that they are going door to door there. Miss Carol's not on here yet, so I am curious how things are going there. I know she has been quite unhappy with the way things have been going. We just need to pay attention. It's not something we need to live out of a place of fear and doom and gloom. We need to live out of a place of faith and just want change and want a different. Sorry, I had to reposition here. My back is still bugging me, and this chair is pretty tough on the back. I might need to relocate then. But yeah, pay attention, guys. Pay attention to what's happening. Pay attention to our surroundings. Pay attention to the things you can change. Disregard the things you have no control over. That's where the line is. When there's stuff that you can't control and you're wasting headspace on it and getting fearful and worrisome, it's not going to benefit you. But pay attention to where there's ways and things that you can do and the things that you can stand up for. Because right now we really need to. Here's something else I want to mention. Supreme Court ruling, no mandate on the jab, which is tremendous. Praise our Supreme Court for that. However, there are businesses. Okay. Could you maybe share the link to the video with her, Mill? Mill mentioned that Bobby's having a struggle. If you have to get going, no worries. I don't know if I can. I might be able to on here, actually. I'll see if I can. But there are businesses that are still taking that evil in their own hands because the Supreme Court gave the decision-making to the business themselves. So I don't know about you guys. As much as I like their products and have used them in varying ways for a very long time, Carhartt just lost my business. Because Carhartt is mandating the jab for their employees. And I think it was Citibank was one of the other ones. Citibank was the first one, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that one. But Carhartt's keeping that in place. So, what a shame for their employees, and there's probably a good bit of jobless people, but hold the line, guys. Plant your feet, stand strong. And we got to support these people that are doing this for us, you know, that have the opportunities to hold the line. You know, some of us don't have that opportunity in our professions. I work from home. It's not something I can do, but I can hold the line in other ways, and I can share what I know, and I can speak volumes to the people that need to hear it and be aware of what's going on. Sad shame, though. But the evil's going to continue to try. The evil's going to continue to take hold, and we just need to fight it. So just keep that in mind. So I thought I would talk a little bit about indecisiveness. And actually, I called it an indecisive mess. How many of you guys are indecisive in your day-to-day? I used to be. I am in certain areas, and I was thinking about it today. True, there are two areas, and the one I'm like zapping, and that would be clothing and watching movies with the mountain man. There's a reason for that. That's because he and I have the same taste in things, except mine might be a little broader. And oh, awesome. Thank you, Mill. Thank you for trying to help her. And because my movie liking is broader, you know, every once in a while I'm in the mood for a chick flick. And I like more than the action-packed thriller and the blood and guts stuff, although I thrive off of that too. But because my choices are broader, I hate being the one responsible for choosing. Because then he'll watch it and he'll go at certain points through the movie. So anyway, that's one of my areas. I used to be very indecisive, but I want to live my life. And indecisiveness causes us to live out of a space of kind of a debilitated space. And I'm talking about that today because indecisiveness in our decision making and it being debilitating could be really rough in our current situations. We don't want to be indecisive and afraid to make decisions. We need to be willing to make hard decisions. We need to be willing to make decisions on the fly. Now, I spoke clothing. And one of the things that I am getting myself to, there are a couple minimalists out there that I follow some of their stuff, some of their organization things, some of their techniques. And a couple of them that I follow have a very bland wardrobe. The one guy has all black jeans and all white t-shirts. And I can speak into that because when we were living in the wall tent, when we were building our first homestead, we were there for 8.5 months in the tent. Here we were in a tent, I think it was 3 months, 2 or 3 months. Anyway, we're living out of a tote, with jeans, t-shirts, sweatshirts, you know, very minimal stuff. And it's so easy. You just reach in there, you grab something and you put it on, hope that in the dim light, you're putting it on right side out and front to back properly. But nice praise. Miss Diana just said she got a call for info for an organizing job. Yay, an older couple moving to Florida. Fabulous. There you go. That's Diana's superpower. So if you are looking for someone to help you get organized, look at MsDcluttering.com. MsDcluttering.com. It's coming to you really soon. This I know. But being able to, like, I was thinking about this when I went into the container the other day. You know, we have chosen a very simplistic life. We've been living that for 12 years. Very old school, very traditional. However, there's still portions of the one thing I can really think of that really pulls me into the material world is my clothing. Why? Because we don't part with things because it could be repurposed into something else. Clothing could be made into comforters, into socks, and you can repurpose clothing. So that is why I hang on to it. And there are times where I pull things out of that. I get drawn into, some of the older things I have. Guys, I still have stuff from when I was in high school. Of course, it's all coming back and I'm loving it. I think this is actually one of them. It's kind of funny. Anyway, I'm squirreling. Point being, that's really one of the only things I really feel like abundant in. But there's purpose behind that because, like I said, that old clothing can get repurposed. Having extra clothing, if the world were to fall apart, other than going to buckskins and loincloths, it's good to have extra stuff. You got to do what you got to do. Hides are warm, hides are long lasting, leather is amazing. But, having extra jeans, having extra work clothes so you don't have to go to that level is always good. So that is where I feel like I am still materialistic. But I don't go to a store, any store, and get drawn into the clothing aisle. I don't get drawn into the sale aisles. I don't get food, yes. But material things, no. Because of how we live and how we've chosen to live. However, there were times in my life where I did. And, I owned curling irons, hair straighteners, hair dryers. As you can see, I don't own them anymore, as my hair is air drying from my shower. But it's really easy to get caught up in the material world, in the commercialized world, in all the advertisements, feeling you need to have more. And one of the things that I was thinking about when I was in the container looking for something was that for us, if things were to fall apart, we would be much less affected because of how we live, but also how we've prepared. We aren't going to miss the things you guys are missing because we've already ditched those years ago. Just for example, for, you ladies with your hair things, but also just something in the kitchen. A lot of you have espresso machines and coffee machines and all kinds of fancy stuff. We've got a French press and a percolator. So we've already cut back. And the thing is, the things we operate with are the things that we can use regardless what the world looks like. And that's intentional. So, a lot of people get up every morning and they just struggle with great indecision on what flavor of coffee to have, of what clothes to wear, so much. And I see so much of that. I also see a lot of indecision coming from perfectionism, from fear of doing things wrong, from fear of the new. Just as an example, one of the things that kind of made me jump on this subject was a couple things actually, but I see it in the Mountain Boy sometimes where, for example, he has a new generator and at 20 hours it needed to have the oil changed. Well, he didn't know how to change the oil in it. So he was kind of apprehensive about doing a little indecisive in making the decision to do it because it was something unknown. But once he does it and it's embraced, he's good to go. And I know many of us are the same way. Once we step past that indecision, we can make decisions. But a lot of people are stuck in a place of indecision all the time. And I want to speak into that today because we don't have place for fear or indecision. We need to, and we may need to be prepared to make decisions like this. And I want you guys to be able to do that. I want you guys to be thinking about whether you have the right things on hand if the grid went down, or if, decisions on the things you would take if you had to leave your home in a hurry. Tornadoes coming, wildfires coming. What would be the things you would grab? Now, most people would grab their material and their greatest treasures. in this space we're in, it would be really important to grab the things that's going to enable you to exist beyond that space. So I hope you're getting what I'm saying. I want our minds, the mountain man's and my mind already work like that. You know, we're thinking ahead always. We're thinking of the things we need. And as always, you guys know that God is always in the forefront, heading the way. You know, so we're seeking him for knowledge, discernment, direction, always, always, always. That's really in everything we do. But I want you guys thinking differently, like move past the things that cause you indecision in your life. Like, I have a lot of cast iron, but I will never be indecisive in what I'm using when I'm making something because I have them with intention. You know, it's not like I have this abundance of cast iron and I just have it to look pretty. I use certain skillets to bake cakes. I use certain skillets to fry my bacon. I use my chicken fryer to make my fry bread and my fry bread. No, also breaded, we do breaded foods of all different kinds, healthy breaded foods, mind you. Breaded chicken and breaded meats I do in my other skillet, the little fry pan we use for eggs. I mean, everything, we're very intentional. And that helps to alleviate a lot of indecision. The other thing is I want to live my life. I don't want to be stuck. You know, the things that came to mind to give you like a quirky example, I have a lot of big mugs. I go in spurts and in seasons as to which one is my favorite. This one is my favorite right now. But I have a huge lineup of these massive mugs. Heaven forbid somebody comes here and wants just a small amount of coffee because I don't have small mugs anymore. You got to remember the mountain man's got big mitts, and so do most of the people that we entertain here. You know, the big guys with big mitts. So you don't want this little teacup that they can barely hang on to. But I could see that being a, you know, too many mugs, too many decisions. But I focus on the one that makes me happy at the time. The other thing was another quirky thing. We got extra sets of snowshoes. I've got 3 that I could choose from because snowshoes are a big thing. If I have to get around out here and I don't have transportation, that is my means of getting around. If something happens to one pair, I need a backup. So, you know, gee, which pair would I wear today? You know, I can't decide. So guess what? I'm not going to go. That's the kind of stuff people are doing. And I don't want to see that. You know, the heck with that. If I want a snowshoe, I don't care if I have one of 2 different kinds on each feet. It might cause a little bit of discomfort out in the woods and some comical situations, but I'm going. You know, I'm not, if I can't decide, I'll wear 2, one of each. But you know what I'm saying? How many of you struggle with indecision, and where do you find that you're dealing with it? Okay, lots of comments coming in. Miss Mill says adios. All right. Good morning, Joe and my Linda. She says, just saw you were online, sister. Hope y'all are staying warm and snow is melting. Blessings y'all's way. Thank you very much. It is melting. It's now transitioned from a wet floor to muddy and little stones and grit. So yes, we are getting down to a base layer. I'm okay with a snow layer and a little bit of ice till spring so we don't have the mud, but you know, we'll take what we get. Little icy out here. The lane's a little icy. I'll be trying that later when I run out to the post office, so we'll see what that's like. Of course, with the rain and that, and now a little bit of warm weather, you get lots of ice. So she says, we just got into our place after losing everything moving in a U-Haul, and we unfortunately had a bad accident in the U-Haul, and all material stuff was busted. We literally just did this year. Let me make sure, getting back tools and things we need. It has been such a difference in our gratitude for the simplicity of life. Intentional is the word, she says. Yes. Wow, that's crazy. That's so crazy. And, you know, we learned in our time after my surgery and through my healing journey, when we were in a place of lack and a very huge financial quandary, we started just selling everything that didn't matter. And it was very freeing and decluttering. And, you know, we don't live in the material world and focus on the material things. We focus on the moments and the relationships. and life is so much more wholesome as a result of it. Stuff is just stuff. It takes up space. And it is very true that there's a huge shift in life when you hit a place of simplicity and less. And, I have a lot of heirlooms. The things that are left in my home are things that have great value to me. I see them and I think of the people that gifted them to me. I think of my grandparents. Many of our old tools are our grandfathers or great-grandfathers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers, and I treasure them. Those have purpose. We use all of our tools because they work better than the modern day counterparts anyway. But there's great joy in that for me, and I don't need a lot. And if something happened to those things, it would be disappointing, but my relationships are my most important thing. My moments, my days spent in a good way are more valuable to me than my treasures. Always, always, always. Good morning, Miss Laura. And yes, she's celebrating Diana too. That's really awesome. I'm so excited. It's going to take off, sister. It's going to take off. And I was thinking about it. I was coming down the stairs and was thinking about your website and thinking about, I was reading over some of your testimonials, and it took over my mind. And I'm like, you could do this by Zoom. All they need to do is show you the space, the clutter, the things they have that need to be organized, and you could go to town. There's no reason you need to stay local, sister. Good morning, Miss Toika. How are you feeling today, sister? My Linda says, speak it, sister. Truth right here. Yes. Yes. She also says, like-minded and Holy Spirit-minded, sister. We can choose what we think. Oh, gosh, yeah. We can choose what we think. We can choose what we do. We can choose how we live. We can choose everything. But so many of us are stuck in the mold of the world that's telling us we have to do things a certain way. And so we stay there. No, there's no fun in that, guys. I mean, there's tradition in that in a lot of ways, and that's okay. I get that. But we're making our own traditions and living out some of the traditions of our family at the same time. We are embracing our life by our terms and our dreams, not the world's, not anybody else's, and it's an awesome thing. So Miss Laura says to my Linda, we need to empty our hands so we can carry the blessings God is sending us. Yes, sister. That's another one, Miss Laura. You're on a roll. There we go. Screenshotting that one. Okay, so my Linda says, I bet you make some mean deer meat, sister. Oh, I love cooking roasts. I almost did a video the other day. The mountain boy got a roast from his work for Christmas. I don't think I've ever seen a roast this big. This was beef, and it just fit in my largest pan. It was, gosh, I'm going to say 12 or 13 inches long, almost 6 inches thick, and it was probably 10 inches wide. I mean, this is one massive piece of meat. This is a piece of meat that I would have leftovers with, even with the mountain man, the mountain boy, and probably 2 friends. The mountain man could not eat all of this one in a sitting. Although if he was here, he'd tell me he'd try his best. I know he would. Ooh, I might need to relocate. This is hurt in the back. Okay, so, and I'll tell you what, breaded game meat is so amazing. We've been doing breaded heart and breaded roasts. Like I slice the roasts up for steaks, and then I've been breading it. Oh my goodness, it's so amazing. Let's see here. My Linda says, oh, he showed us that space girl lol. Yep. And sometimes, that is true. We need to learn the hard way. Sometimes things just need to be stripped from us because we're not getting it sometimes, or God knows that might be the easiest way versus making a long process out of it for whatever reason. He knows us better than we know ourselves, so he knows what we need. And, I know a family that their house burned to the ground. They lost absolutely everything, and they were treasure trovers. They collected a lot of actually some really pricey things and valuables, and the first 2 days were pretty rough, but after that they were like, that's not what matters. They were able to all get out safely. I mean, they were very fortunate because it happened during the night, and she has her father living with them, who's not in good health and is very slow moving and greatly needs assistance. So God has purpose. God does things. God knows. My Linda says, I can't imagine having more than a couple, lol. Let me see here. Laura says, I found you a perfect mug. Kim said that it looked bigger than our large French press. So now I'm looking for a French press mug. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Well, Glenn's like, I don't like when you use that mug. Half the coffee pot's gone. If you have 2 cups, there's not any left for me. Oh, I love this mug. It's great. Let's see here. My Linda says, oh Lord, yes, woman. Once we began ridding things and stuff, like Space Girl said, we have to empty our hands for God to fill them. So crazy. This was on your mind today. Intentional moments. Yeah, and just, okay, so for me, I'm thinking about this. Clothing, I mentioned clothing was an issue just because of the circumstance. But I would love, truthfully, and I'm this close to going there. White t-shirts, long sleeve, white and black t-shirts, jeans, and a couple button shirts that I can wear over top, because I like to layer. And I love corduroy, and I love flannel, and I love wool. So, mix that into the equation, but my t-shirts, my jeans, all very simple. And then the thing that makes it different is the outer layer, and call it good. I like life simple. But what concerns me is, for me, indecisiveness comes in like seeking a movie. But I see people, and I see that indecisiveness is their life, and in everything they do. They have to make decisions. They're afraid to put a pencil to paper to draw something because they might mess it up. Afraid to watercolor, afraid to knit, afraid to garden, afraid to do all these things. And not only are you missing out, but when we put our hands to it and we are active, we are putting power to the knowledge we have. We are adding that power. Knowledge is not power until you activate it. So you might be a armchair gardener right now, but until you get your hands dirty, you're not doing it. And we need to be doing it right now. We need to be doing everything we can to help ourselves. And if we are indecisive, so are our children. Our children mimic us. There are some strong-willed children that will look at situations and go, I don't want to be like that. That was me. I don't want to be like that. So don't tell me I can't. There are others that just mimic and clone what they see. And in turn, they are going to be indecisive too. We cannot have indecisive kids. We need them to be strong. So I want to encourage you guys to step out of this area of indecision and embrace life. Let me see here. My Linda says you must do a cooking video. I'm going to pray for it. You don't have to pray too hard, because part of my videoing right now is what God is leading me to do. I see the comments that are coming in. I see the questions. I put a post out in our community of things that people would like to see, things that people are seeking. A lot of it is food preparedness. A lot of it is cooking. A lot of it is going from box cooking to scratch cooking and how to embrace that. A lot of people have asked me even here how to make a simple meal, because that's just not their mindset. And I am totally game for that because I throw stuff together. The other night, the mountain boy came home from work, and he was tired, and I had pasta left over from the night before. So I threw that on the stove. I threw a little bit of milk in there. I threw some shredded cheese in there. I seasoned it with the most essential seasonings that it tastes perfect, and put it on the stove and let it on there for a while, and it was his baked mac and cheese on the stove top. Very quick and easy, very fast. But you gotta have, now this is a joke. I use, I call it squishy salt from a grinder. He calls it the grindy salt because that's what the guys up in the city called it. So anyway, fresh milled Himalayan salt and black pepper are so amazing. And so that's what goes on top of that, along with garlic, of course. So yes, I am going to be doing that. I was going to do the roast, but I was pretty busy that day. I'm really, honestly, I'm crazy busy right now. I put a post out last evening on the community and mentioned that while I was chasing myself, I was happy to see that I was at least smiling. Because I am really chasing myself right now. It's pretty crazy. I can't clone myself, but, and I sort of half wish I could right now because I'm swamped, but it's a good swamp. It's a swamp of many blessings. It's just a matter of prioritizing them and still taking time for me. So it's a good thing. But yes, I'm going to do a lot of cooking because I do everything from scratch. Some are by recipes, which was typically the norm for me in my 20s and 30s, but 40s and 50s, it's just throwing it together. I know what's enough. I've been doing it enough. So yes, I am going to definitely be doing this. So stay tuned. Miss Laura says cast iron Dutch oven on the wood stove today. High today of -7. Yeah. Tonight is bean soup with leftover gifted pork roast. I'll warm up some bread to make it a meal. Yum. Bread is good with anything, plain and simple. And I love having stuff on the wood stove. That roast cooking all day, oh my gosh, that's insane. That smell. It was really funny. I'm going to share this with you. My grandmother was a pyromaniac. It was really funny. When she'd come to our homestead growing up, we had a burn barrel, and 99% of her visit was in front of that burn barrel. She just loved burning stuff. I don't know why. But the reason I mentioned that is she had a little wood stove in her little cabin. Her cabin was not very big. I don't know the square footage, but it wasn't big at all. And she'd get that thing roaring. And you'd go there and you'd get there and you learned that you'd layer. I mean, like to the point that you'd even wear shorts under your jeans. And if you didn't have them under your jeans, you'd have them with. Because you'd start taking your coat off, and then you take your bigger layer off, and then you take your long sleeve shirt off, and then you'd end up in a tank top because you planned ahead and wore it underneath there. And then you'd either take your jeans off and have shorts underneath or swap to shorts because it was so stinking hot in there. And it smelled like food all the time. And you'd leave there. She was a smoker. So you'd come home and you'd have detoxed and sweat probably 20 pounds off. And then 10 back because she had so much food. And you'd smell like her onions and pepper cooking and cigarette smoke. So that memory sticks in my mind. Well, I was outside doing firewood or something that day. And I was warming up outside, but it was still damp and cold. And I came in here with that roast going because in order to keep a roast going, you need to keep the stove rolling pretty good and keep it on consistently. I walked in here. And the first thing I did was crack up because it smelled like my grandma's house with the food. It was so hot. I actually had to move plants. Notice my refrigerator only has one plant up there, and that's because I don't know where to go with her. But they're dying. They were like all screaming at me, except my lemon plant, who is getting new leaves daily. And my teas and my basil are like going nuts on the windowsill. It's really funny. Anyway, I squirreled. So having... This was all about food. Anyway, having stuff on the wood stove like that cooking just smells so amazing. And the Mountain Man and Mountain Ben at the other homestead, I'd have windows open when stuff was cooking there too, because it would get so hot in there. And that was just on the wood stove, not the wood cook stove. And, you know, they'd be outside and catch whiffs of things baking and stuff. So just pretty funny. Diana says, Burr, our high is 59 today. I love living in the South. That's so funny. I couldn't stand the humidity, sister. Oh my goodness, I could not stand the humidity. I don't mind a dry heat, but like high 60s, low 70s, that would be great. Although I need my seasons, so I don't know. My Linda says, I'm done a little spaghetti bake with our leftover spaghetti the other night, but yes, I will be watching and sharing them, sister. Awesome. Awesome. You know, and I don't know if you guys joined our community. Join our community, TrayerWilderness.com/community. Get in there, share what your favorite recipes are and things you like to eat. And I will do some some videos geared to you guys. She says, a throw together and made with love and Holy Spirit cookbook, and yummy, yummy, Laura. Well, I have one cookbook out there already, and I am working on number 2. I've actually been working on number 2 for a long time. Number 2 has not divinely come to me. The recipes just keep getting added in there. God has been getting me working on other books, which reminds me, I'm shooting for Saturday, 1/22 of 22, for the Relentlessly Faithful Gratitude and Prayer Journal to go out in a paperback for those that like paperback instead of hardcover. So I'm shooting for that. Praying God brings it all together, because I have a couple adjustments I need to make, and I'm hoping I have enough time. Today is Wednesday, but we shall see. Laura says, I lived in Florida for 5 years. Love being back in Minnesota with all 4 seasons and snow in the winter. We vacation on the other side of our property. That's funny. That's very funny. Yeah, I can't stand the humidity. And I prefer comfortable versus too hot. And I don't mind the cold. I don't mind the cold at all, because I've got enough layers. I can layer it up and it's all good. Just heaven forbid I fall, because I might not get up. My Linda says, Laura, we're in an East Tennessee where you never know what the weather will be. Same here, you never know. Laura says, ha, ha, ha. Tammy T, you are ready to visit our homestead. One substitution, no cigarette smoke, just cigar vapors occasionally. Yeah, I can't do cigarette vapors anymore. Oh my goodness, that like makes me so sick. But yeah, that was funny. That was, it's funny the things you remember, but I opened that door and it was just like instant. I just thought of my grandmother. So funny. More so the heat and the food, but it's funny because I was out in the bathhouse tending to the fire out there, and I came out and walked past the mountain boy the other day. He's like, you smell like sausage. I'm like, is that good or bad? Because the smoke was coming out of the stove into my hair. So the beautiful thing of hair, it holds the smells. But smoke is a good deodorizer. Did you know that? Wood fire smoke. Let me clarify that. Good morning, Miss Rhonda. Good morning, good morning. So, hopefully none of you guys are an indecisive mess. I will touch on perfectionism at another time, because I think I'm going to touch on that on Monday on Instagram. But there's a lot of things that cause indecision. Again, it's fear, perfectionism, fear of doing things wrong, worried about what other people think. Get rid of that. That's like so unnecessary. Oh, I got to share this with you guys. I was talking about our kids being indecisive, and this popped in my mind. I saw this on Instagram the other day, and I kind of think it was Hold the Line that shared it, but I can't remember. Okay, so 80s, 90s, you guys remember The Breakfast Club. Judd, I can't think of his last name. But one of the main characters in that movie, he was rough and tough, and, you know, they did a video on Instagram. It was a reel of a guy that looked like him coming out of a bedroom into a hallway wearing, I can't remember if he had a denim jacket on or a leather jacket on, you know, but looked just like the character from The Breakfast Club. Hits the wall and just turns and looks at it, gives it a nasty look, and then it says 1970, okay? And then it has him coming out again, hitting the wall and turning and giving it an ugly look and going, and keep going, and it says 1980. And then he comes out of the room again and he hits the wall and he hits it and he looks at it and he gives this look and keeps going. Okay, and then it says 1990. Then he comes out again, hits the wall, bounces off the other side of the wall, in the meantime making this face like he's crying, and falls and hits the floor and has this look of like total ugh. And then all of a sudden the face goes away, and then he grabs his phone and he goes again and snaps a picture and it says 2000s. It totally cracked me up. I mean, it cracked me up because there's great truth in that. It saddened me because there's great truth in that. And it was really funny. But the thing is, that's just it. You know, I don't know what is up with society. I don't know what is up with the progression of this. But, you know, what happened to grit? And, you know, we're talking about indecision. But we need to have a little bit of grit, a little bit of gumph in us to be able to make decisions and to be able to be strong and to be able to hold the line and to hold our ground and to plant our feet. So when I was talking about our children, that popped in my head to share that for that reason. You know, sometimes holding the line, sometimes changing to decisive from indecisive is getting a little grit back in our lives. You know, we morph as we age, we transition as we age, but I know many of you grew up like I did, rough and tumble, holding your own, doing things yourself. We need to get back there. We need to not be afraid to make decisions. We need to especially not worry about what other people think. That is just so not even a concern of mine anymore. So my Linda says squirrel, rabbit, rabbit. Yeah, right. I'm so good at that. Don't forget to thumbs up this video, you all. Thank you very much. Yes, please, guys, like it, share it, subscribe to our channel, share it with your friends. You know, I really want to reach the masses. I really want to encourage the masses, but I also want to teach, and we are going to be teaching. Short videos, 9 in the queue already, and gosh, another 9 being edited and coming your way, and I'm still videoing. And I'll be videoing every day. She says, I will watch the rest later. Headed to an interview. Awesome. Good luck. Could use the prayers for this job or wherever God opens up. Love you, sis. Love you too. Good luck. Have a fabulous day. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your input. And you guys have a safe and blessed day. Miss Rhonda says, hey there. And Laura says, good luck, my Linda. And lol, yes, yes. My dryer reaches out to grab me daily. I catch the washing machine on occasion too. The door catches me. There she is. Miss Carol is in the house. Rhonda says, interesting you bring this up, Tammy. I'm working on my picture project. I'm going through a lot of memorabilia sorting. Yes, yes. And she says, the more I do, the easier it is to decide. You know why? Because you just put your hands in it. You became active. You know, the enemy wants us indecisive. He wants us unable to make decisions. He wants us debilitated. Indecision is a debilitator, and in so many different ways. And then you have perfectionism in that too, which is a whole other illness of its own, which we will be talking about later. The more I do, the easier it is to decide. I just need to stay the course. Exactly. And the key to that is just starting, and so often that is the hardest part. But for me, I have morphed and progressed into a place of just doing it. I don't even think twice. If I want to do it, if I want it to happen, I got to make it happen. You know, the other day I was sitting here working and working and working, and all of a sudden I felt the urge to just go outside, and I just shut the lid and out we went. And down the lane we go. I knew snowshoeing was probably not a good option at the moment, so I just grabbed the walking stick and off we went through the ice and slush and mud and everything else. And you know what? So refreshing. The moon started coming up, and it was a full moon. It's a full moon right now. It's been very cloudy though, which has been a real bummer. But it was coming up through the clouds. It was massive. It was bright, and I got an awesome picture of it. So I knew I was supposed to be there. I was just supposed to see that, be there in that moment. And just got to go with our gut. So often we don't listen to what our gut is telling us. Our gut's telling us to go, and our mind is telling us, I don't know which way. And we just got to stop. Just, embrace life. Embrace life. Make stuff happen. Do it. Just do it. From now on, when you get indecisive, I want you to hear me sitting on your shoulder going, do it. Go do it. Because there's so much joy in that. Oh my gosh, just do it. And you know what? Sometimes, and of course, keep in mind, I am not proposing that you should be doing anything that's bad for you, illegal, wrong. Okay? Just do what's good in your life. Okay? I want to make that clear. Because we do need to discern. There's a difference there. We do need to discern right from wrong, but we need to stop being indecisive and just do. Same with, and that plays a role in just doing good things. The mountain man has had some awesome opportunities, and he has been speaking into the life of people, and he's been not being indecisive. He has been moving to the nudges of God, and it's so awesome. I'm like so excited. I'm so proud of him, and I'll ask him if I can share those moments with you. That'll be something I can share next week. But so awesome, such awesome stuff. And I know you guys get those nudges, but would it look okay if I did that? Should I do it this way or that way? And boom, opportunity's gone. So stop doing that. Diana says, my prayer is that when people describe me, one of the words they use is steadfast. Awesome. I like that. I like that a lot. Carol, there you go. You guys have been pushing. Well, tomorrow we no longer need to wear masks. There you go, sister. You held the line. You're planting your feet. You guys are fighting back. Yes. Make it happen. Make it happen. Make it happen. We need to build our immunities. You know what? There are going to be a lot of sick people because I saw a video where the swine flu is making its round. The flu is going to make its round. There's going to be other germs. Guess what? Our immune system, for those taking the jab especially, is going to be low. I'm praying and I'm thankful that I got it because you know what? Now my system is prepared for it. Lord only knows what has been injected into my system as a result of it, but I can at least, my body's going to work to fight it. So, awesome. Awesome, awesome. Laura's, yeah. I see you, sister. You're doing your little happy dance, aren't you? That is good stuff. Carol says, so I now have Niley, her partner, and Lorenzo with COVID. Oh, wow. They are saying by March, if they had COVID, they don't have to isolate. Lol, I give up. Right? Exactly. Make any sense of it? Can't. That should be a real eye-opener, and that should be a real thing screaming to us, is that nothing makes sense, So Laura says, raising you and yours in healing prayers, Carol. Yes, exactly. Yeah, the mountain man has been under the weather too and could use some prayers. Carol just saw that Toika's in here. Carol's doing her happy dance. You two haven't been like stirring up trouble here lately. You guys have been very mellow, Carol and Toika. They're like the little kids that end up in the corner on occasion. They used to be. You guys haven't joined forces lately. Diana says, yeah, Carol, that's great. It is great. And praying for the family, yes. Toika says, Carol, oh my gosh, how are they doing with the crud? My sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and nephew also have it right now. Really crazy. But they're on the mend fast, which is good. Having ivermectin on hand and think of the other one. Someone else share it. It's the long one, but having stuff on hand, being prepared, you know, having things there on the ready. The tincture that I shared, the secret sauce. I think the link's down below, but TrayerWilderness.com/secret sauce. I think I made it. It might be lymph tone 2 also. Lymph tone II. Having that on hand and being able to fight it right away as soon as they get it is super huge. I would also recommend doing nasal spray and oil, anybody that gets it, to keep your sinuses activated and emptying. So Laura says, open the good book to help make decisions, pray and randomly open. Amen. Amen. I have been using Logos, the Logos app. Oh my goodness, I got to readjust again. Sorry, guys. Woo, almost fell off it. That would have been funny. You would have seen my feet up in the air. That would have been so funny. I would have been dying. I wouldn't have been able to get back on the camera. Okay, so Logos app. I am doing the HCSB version of the Read the Bible, and it goes through the Old Testament once, Psalms twice, and the New Testament twice. It's good reading. I'm really loving how it's put together. And I was always afraid that when you read different areas of the Bible that it wouldn't make sense and it would really jumble in my head. But they did a good job. I'm really enjoying it. Let's see here. Carol says, I spent 7 days in isolation as I was with Lorenzo last Wednesday. Then that night, Niley tested positive. Then 2 days later, her partner, then Lorenzo 2 days ago. And you did not get it. That's awesome. You know, a lot of people, I know several people that have not good health, but they have the right blood type and have not gotten it yet. I know blood type plays a role. I want to say it's O or O positive, but I could be very wrong. But research that. So Carol, I am like so thankful that you haven't gotten it. I've been too knackered and she's never here. Well, that's funny. Toika says, wait, I thought you liked that, Tammy. No? Uh-oh. What did I say? Toika, help me, because I talk too much, and by the time I catch up to the things, I don't sometimes remember what you guys are referring to. So remind me. Uh-oh, what don't I like? Carol says she misses us, Toika. I bet she does. I do. Oh, I get it now. I'm back on track. I do. I miss you guys. I actually was thinking of you all this week, thinking, man, it seems like forever since we've been together. Oh, I think you guys are hysterical. When you guys start going, it's really funny. The mountain man had me busting up the other day on his break. Oh my gosh, I could not stop laughing. Oh. And the fact that he was texting me really fast, I think was part of it, because he is technologically challenged. He hates the machine, but he was like boom, 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 hitting me with text messages that were hysterical. I love to laugh. I'll be the first to laugh at myself. Carol says, tired, flat out, busy, lol. Yes, hear that. Is everybody else, like, it seems like, this is really funny. This is my analogy. The new year, 2022, started with a bang, and it opened the floodgates. And it has just been like, bah! I have been like so slammed. So slammed. Oh my goodness. And I got behind between the holidays and between year-end stuff, New Year's stuff, to get the year started, and then all the workload has just been wild. And God is implanting and giving me so many things. So many things. It's insane. Let me see here. So Toika says, okay, thanks, Carol. Thought it was about that. Okay. All right. So Carol says, I'm wondering if it's because I'm on permanent steroids. Could be. Could be, but that's really awesome. Okay, so Diana says, I'm O positive and I've not gotten it. Been exposed several times. Yeah, that's what's sticking in my mind, but there's so much in there and it's rattling around. So research that, because there's so much interesting information. This is like, I don't know. I did like science, but I'm fascinated with my fascination for this information. As I've been healing, it's just been like really, I love seeking new information, and I love knowing this stuff. So Mill's been a big part of sharing information in our community, and I love Keith's information that he's always sharing. That is always tremendously huge. So she says I'm A positive. Okay, I think that's what I am. I'm A something. I think I'm A positive. Should know that. Toika says that we would end up, yeah, I got it finally. Takes me, I'm a little slow. So yep, 2022, one thing after another so far. Yeah, you guys, gosh, you didn't even get out of 2021. It was kicking you in the behind into 2022. How's your son? Busy and not busy times, but I can't seem to get enough sleep. Well, I'm in that boat too with the sleep thing, but that's out of my own stupidity. I just don't know how to shut my laptop lid and walk away right now. I'm just staying transfixed and trying to get things done. Carol says my sleep pattern completely shot. Yeah, well, you know, like I said, I'm not seeking demons in every corner, but the enemy does play a big role, and I see his role in things. Oh, I have to share this. This is for George. Okay, I said demon and it made me think of this. Get me back on track with the sleep thing then, okay? Okay, so I was outside working, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm very in tune with my surroundings. I'm very in tune with odd feelings. You know, like say I'm somewhere, somebody makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up, like I'm really in tune with that stuff. And I listen to that stuff. And it was really funny. I was out working. Now, I shared with you guys, and again, this is for George. George and Gudrun. Pat passed away on the 5th, and I've been really thinking about him. I text messaged him a lot and communicated with him a lot, and he's just heavy. He's always been heavy in my thoughts, so that's not changing. And I was out working on firewood, and it was just weird. I felt a presence. Like, even thought I saw things out of the corner of my eye. Like, there was definitely an awareness of a feeling, okay? So I come in and I had to Zoom a client about their website, and I'm sitting here talking to him. Now, I did see an eagle flying around prior to. I saw 2 of them. And I'm sitting here Zooming with him, and something slams into my house, hits the door, and the glass is like a good portion of my door. I saw white. I saw something out of it. Like, I saw something. I'm sitting here like this, and I saw it hit. So I opened the door, and there's nothing there. I'm like, what in the world was that, right? So after I'm done Zooming, well, and Chad said that, did I consider that the eagle might have been chasing the cat? Because the cat's always right here and trying to communicate with me. I'm like, wow, it could have been, but that was weird. It just, so anyway, I finished my Zoom and I go out, and there was a sled propped up against the other side of the house and a ski pole. And the sled is scattered in one direction, the ski pole's in another. I'm like, what in the world was that? So I'm telling the mountain man about this, and he's like, that was Pat. It was Pat getting acclimated with his wings. Oh, I laughed so hard. And I could not wait to share that story with George. And I wanted to not just text message it. I wanted to put it on a video. And I know he watches the replays. So George, that's for you. I thought that was so great. And I do not doubt that. Pat was a helicopter pilot in Nam, and he also flew planes. So he is a pilot, and that added more humor to it. And we've heard stories by the campfire with Pat, some of his excursions. So it even added more humor. So then, to add to that story, what is really cool is the mountain boy found 2 wheat pennies this week. Well, last week. Same time frame. He found 2 wheat pennies. The odds of that is kind of, not likely to begin with. But they were both 1944s. And Pat had a special liking for Austin, and Pat was born in 1944. So, yes, coincidence, you could say. Yes, of course. But I really like that. And that really made my heart sing, and it really makes me happy. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm going to go back to the sleep thing now. So George, that was for you. Okay. So, the enemy wants us busy. And I do keep that in mind when I am grinding here and getting all this stuff done and not stopping. He wants us busy. He wants us distracted. He wants us indecisive. He wants us debilitated. And he'll find all kinds of stupid ways of doing that. Instagram, Facebook, they're the devil, I tell you. All those things where you just scroll, you senselessly waste your time. He loves that. He loves that. So keep that in mind. We're all going to get off track. It's human nature. It's the world. There's stuff. There's always stuff happening. When you catch yourself getting off track, pull yourself back. Pull yourself back. Get yourself in a good pattern again. I am guilty. I am doing the same right now. Toika says permanent steroids would do it, making you knackered. Such a funny word. I know. I love her choices of words, and I know that is a difference between being on different sides of the pond. But I love it. I love it. I love it. There have been a couple others she said. I ought to start writing them down. I think I'm gonna start writing them down, because there's been a couple others that she shared that have really cracked me up. And the stones, I just absolutely love that. So Diana says O positive is pretty common, so it may not be that one. Okay. I'm gonna have to do a little research on that. My girlfriend told me that, and it's been a blessing that she hasn't gotten it. Carol says Drew goes back to the hospital on the 26th. Okay. I want to write that down, so we are praying for him. Is that when he goes for his MRI, or is that his surgery? Either way, I want to put him on the calendar, so I remember to pray for him. Okay, and remember to put on your armor every morning, girls. Absolutely. And you know what? Sometimes throughout the day, because I don't know about you, but, this is a good example. I was going to say my armor gets crooked or tossed. I was walking across the yard the other day with a skillet full of grease and yuck to dump in one composting bin, just so the dogs don't get it. I mean, it would be a snow cone at this point. But anyway, walking across the yard, and doesn't my one leg go 2 feet into the snow? So I'm holding this thing half cocked, I didn't get any on me. Talk about stable. Don't know how I did that. But, we get kinks in our armor. Our armor, through the battle of the day, it gets tossed around. So when you feel that, pull back in, put it back on. Straighten it out and keep going. Oh, wow. A deer just ran across. Oh, that is really funny. Bowser's right there, and a deer just went blasting down through. I didn't know what it was at first. They must have accidentally collided. Austin must have left Bowser out. But the deer was moving like crazy. That was funny. I didn't know what it was. At first I thought it was like a wolf or a coyote, but it was just a deer making tracks. That's funny. Okay, anyway, that had to be funny. That was a major squirrel. That was the mountain man would have been making fun of me. You and your noises. Keep him on his toes. So Carol says, well, oh, Toika, I miss you, girl. Yes, I imagine you two do. That's so funny. Yeah, you guys haven't done that in a while. So, oh, yeah, talking about sleep. Yeah, right? So Keith says, it appears to me that those countries heavily using GMO-based products have the most COVID problems. And you and I know exactly why. That's interesting, though. Interesting observation. And not surprised, Mountain Man and I were talking about that last night. Because, those toxins in the food break down our system, break down our immune system, block a lot of receptors. Therefore, the system can't fight back. And it views, GMOs cause the body to get stuck in fight and flight. So it gets confused. So it doesn't fight off things that it should, and it fights off things it shouldn't. So, yep. Interesting, Keith. I'm working on the other for you. Very interesting. And I am really mesmerized by the data and the different things that is being presented and coming across. Huge praises for the frontline doctors that are holding the line and fighting hard for us and fighting for the medical system. You know, I saw something the other day on a friend's Facebook page. She's a nurse. And she says, you know, instead of battling the nurses and doctors, pray for them, because many of them are questioning whether what they are doing is worthwhile and making a difference. You know, I mean, they're in a tough spot. You know, many of them went into the industry to save lives, and they're being forced to do the opposite. So, you know, didn't really consider that in this scenario. But interesting thought. Carol says, that's UK, knackered. Then Keith. Diana says, that sounds right, Keith. Yep, I totally agree with that. Laura 100% agrees. Yes, yes, yes. Not surprising at all. What the GMOs do to the body is just unbelievable, and the average person doesn't notice it because they eat so much of it, that, and our environment does a lot too, which plays a big role in things as well. Toika says, miss you too, Carol, trying hard to be here. Glad you're here. Okay, so 26 is his MRI scan, so still going to write that in the calendar and follow up on that. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about today is, and if you missed the beginning, guys, really pay attention to what's happening. Really concerned about what some of these states are doing, and Utah being one of them, one of the Tribune. I put a link to the video in our community on YouTube. Big headline article to the governor, wanting the governor to seek out all those that are unjabbed and put them in a camp. And Washington has the verbiage already set up. Mill shared that was from 2003. 2019, Idaho put stuff in place similar, but it was more focused on kids being torn away from their families to be placed in those camps. So the verbiage in these bills that are being passed, you know, that is not my superpower, reading over all that gobbledygook, but I am very blessed to have people in my life that is their superpower. Hang to those people, connect with those people, pay attention to what is happening, because we can't let that kind of stuff happen. That happens in the United States, in one of our states, we will no longer be a United States. It's just going to go to heck in a handbasket. So, so I want to remind you guys to hold the line, plant your feet, do what you can where you can, and get rid of the indecisive mess in your life and start doing. And then stick to the plan. I love this here. I almost feel like I want to read them backwards. Let's see here. Okay. Yes, he's out there. Let me let him in. Okay. All right. She just figured out that Bowser's out there. Austin lets him out of his camper, and then he comes here to hang out because it's warmer. That good dry stove heat. Okay, so I'm going to just read. Okay. I'm going to read this one. Philippians 1:6. God is the one who began this good work in you. Paul writes, God is the one who began this good work in you, and I am certain he won't stop before it is complete. You will notice that Jesus regularly took time out of his busy schedule to pray. In fact, he sometimes prayed all night, and he tells us why. The Son can do nothing by himself. He does only what he sees the Father doing. Whatever the Father does, the Son also does, for the Father loves the Son and shows him everything he is doing. Under the weight of our sins, he cried from the cross, my God, why have you forsaken me? And his words teach us three important things. One, we can be following God's plan and still feel overwhelmed and alone at times. Two, when God doesn't answer, we must practice standing on the promise he gave us in his word. 3, the pain we're feeling will eventually give way to the joy that awaits us on the other side of it. So stick with God's plan. As long as you do that, there is nothing the enemy can do to destroy you. The Bible says no weapon turned against you will succeed. These benefits are enjoyed by the servants of the Lord. When you feel like you have reached the end of your rope, do what Jesus did and pray. Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. That's Luke 23:46. In other words, turn it all over to God. Trust him to do what you can't do and to bring you through in victory. When you feel like you've reached the end of your rope, pray. Guys, I really like how this broke this out because, when we are in a bad spot, one, we can still feel overwhelmed and still be trusting God. We can be seeking God, no matter how faithful we are. I do hit overwhelm. I don't have fear and worry, but I do hit overwhelm. And I do feel the weights of the world, but I don't allow them to conquer me. But the thing is, it's important to remember that when God doesn't, when we are in those times, that we can still be following God's plan, still be on the right path, and still feel that overwhelm and aloneness. So it doesn't mean that God isn't there, and it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with us. You got to remember that too. When God doesn't answer, we must practice standing on the promises he gave us in his word. So we talked about that. I don't remember if it was on one of my other lives or in Bible study, but sometimes you hit that place. She lets herself in. Whoa. Hi, Bowser. You could learn to shut the door, Okay, sorry. Sometimes we hit that space where it's quiet and you don't think God is working. You don't think he's there. You don't think he's listening. Why aren't you doing for me, God? Or why aren't you answering me? But sometimes in those places of waiting, we need to just build our faith muscles. We need to, as it says, remember the truths and the miracles that God has promised us and just trust. You are going to hit times of wait. You are going to hit times of quiet. You are going to hit those places. So, it's understanding that it's kind of it's normal. It's not kind of, it's normal. You're going to hit those places, but don't be thrown by them. I like those places because when I hit those places, I know that I need to seek him more for discernment and direction. I seek him for the fulfillment I need. And sometimes it's just waiting. Sometimes it's just being in that quiet. Sometimes it is needing more direction. So don't be concerned about that. 3, the pain we're feeling will eventually give way to joy that awaits us on the other side. So stick with God's plan. I love that. There's always going to be another side. It's just a matter of whether we give up before we get there. I am not going to give up, and I'm going to keep pushing till I see that light. And when that light keeps getting bigger and bigger, that's certainly motivation to keep going, but I am not going to ever stop. I'm going to keep moving forward. So I want to read another one to you. So Carol says, if the kids get taken, you will never see them again. They will be trafficked. So many children going just vanish and nothing. Exactly. They'd have to take my children and my grandchildren out of my cold and bloody hands because no way. Don't you tell my poor copper off law, bless her. That's funny. We're trying to teach her how to close it back up because it's really funny. I've been out doing firewood and she disappears and I'm like, oh no, she went in the house where it's warm. And of course I come and she's sitting by the stairs closer to the fire looking out the door with the door hanging wide open. So Lord only knows how long she's been in here. So we're trying to teach her to push it back shut. That hasn't happened yet. So Anyway, that's funny, Carol. So Carol says, you got to think why only kids you want to take, not adults. Plus, you can brainwash the kids. You know, at that point, they have total control over the next generation and what they're going to think, what they're going to do, how they're going to act. Yeah. It's not good. It's not good at all. And I don't see that happening without a fight. I mean, I know what this girl would do. I mean, you threaten mama bear's cubs. And then she says, is it so you rush out and jab them? Something ain't right about that, right? Exactly. Well, it's all fear-mongering, you know. I mean, there are people out there that are just afraid. They don't have a backbone. They don't have any grit. They agree to everything that a doctor says, the government says, the world says. They won't step across the line. Everything has to be what they're told. And those people are living out of a place of extreme, steadfast fear. So absolutely, when something like that is broadcast, bam, out the door they go. We gotta step out of that space. That is just so unhealthy. We've got to be making decisions for ourselves. We've got to be discerning direction for ourselves. We have to be living by our terms. So, yeah. Diana says, God's plan so rarely looks like we think it should. Yeah, right? Right. And, you know, the more you pull into him, the more you seek him, the more you seek his desire in your life, you kind of, you know, we're talking about big dreams and in our Bible study. And, you know, it's kind of funny, but when, to me, in my mind, I have dreams, I have plans, and it's not that I've pushed them aside by any means, but I like walking out life, allowing God to lead the way. And there's a fascination for me in what he has planned for me versus what I had planned for me. So I like surprises, so it's more fun watching my days unravel and what he's got planned than planning for myself. If that makes any sense. I've been thinking that for a long time, just couldn't put that into words, and hopefully it made sense. But that's, I love walking out his desires. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, someone only gotta say bad stuff about my kids and grandkids, and I grow about a foot. Protective spikes on. I love it. I know, right? I know. Don't come after my family. You know, I am a loving and giving and tender person. Wear my heart on my sleeve, but don't mess with my family. Not even in the slightest. Right there with you, Carol. Right there with you. Right there with you. That includes my daughter and her grandbabies, you know. I mean, I'm telling you, it doesn't matter if they're present or not. I stand my ground. Oh, yeah. Laura says, God's plan looks strange to us because we see our life in a linear way. From one place in life, God sees from beginning to end at all the same time and how we interweave with others. I know. I just think of that all the time. I think of that with the connections that I have formed, with how God works in my day-to-day, with how God is working amongst our community, in our Bible study, in my family's life. And it is just so incredible. I just can't imagine the big, like what he's seeing, that big picture. But I'm so grateful to not see it. I like surprises. The mountain man does not like surprises. I love surprises. So, yeah. So funny that you mentioned that, Laura. Here's the second one. God always does what he plans. Ephesians 1:11. God said, I am the Alpha and Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. God determines the end result he wants, then starts at the beginning and works toward it. So funny that you said that the way you did, Laura. He always does what he plans. Joseph discovered that even when your family turns against you, God's plan is still in effect. Looking back, he said, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for the good. But don't confuse good with comfortable. When God corrects or redirects you, it doesn't always feel good. And don't get into indecision. But it is good. David said, when you corrected me, it did me good because it taught me. If you're not sure of God's plan, seek him until he shows it to you. Other things may seem more urgent, but nothing is more important. And if you already know God's plan, rest assured that no human action can cancel it. The psalmist wrote, "The Lord will vindicate me. Your love endures forever." There is no situation Satan can devise for which God hasn't already made the way of escape. I love that. I love that. Paul reassures us God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tested beyond what you are able, but with the temptation and testing will also make the way of escape that you may be able to bear it. And that is 1 Corinthians 10:13. It's in your times of testing that you discover God is faithful. He will stretch you, but never beyond your breaking point. His plan is for you to come out of this experience stronger and ready for what's next on his agenda. I love that. I absolutely love that. It says it's in your times of testing that you discover God is faithful. But there's so many little bumper stickers in that one. I'm definitely going to need to go back through that one. But I absolutely love that one sentiment. There is no situation Satan can devise for which God hasn't already made the way of escape. So it's pretty awesome. God's plan is good, and that is what we need to be seeking. Even though it isn't in line with ours, you have to understand that his plan is going to be grander than what we could have ever conjured up. So seek him, seek his plan. Miss Carol says, hit the thumbs up button, guys. Thank you, my dear friend. Thank you, thank you. Yes, and join our community. Our community is growing. We have amazing people in there. So many things are being sought after. So many things are being shared. And I am so anxious to get my videos out to you guys. I'm waiting for them all to upload. With this weather, our internet has been really skanky and messy, and it's not working very nicely. So I'm being patient, but I'm anxious. Laura says, lol, Carol, I see the creature from the original Jurassic Park movie, the one that attacked the programmer on the road to escape. That's so funny, right? I see it too. Oh, that's funny. Yep, I can see it. And I think we all get there. You start messing with our families, there's something that happens. There's some kind of transformation, you know, picture the Incredible Hulk. Carol says, yes, Laura, you know it. Lol. Laura says, woohoo. Carol says, and if anybody even blew on Lorenzo, I'd be doing time. That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, especially now. Don't be breathing your germs on my boy. That's so funny. No, but that's really funny. And that is, I mean, that is how we are called to be. We are to give our lives for those we love. And, you know, that is true family. That is deep devotion. And, you know, I pray that we never get to a place of these camps becoming an issue. You know, pray we don't get there. I pray that we are all able to fend this evil off and that God has a plan before that all transpires. But God will carry us through whatever we need to walk out. And that's the key thing that we need to remember, that regardless what unravels, what unfolds in front of us, we have great power in him, and we have to seek him for our salvation, for our lives, for our direction, and to give us the strength we need to be what we need to be for our families. And yeah, I mean, it's weird times, but there's things happening that are, you know, there's things that are happening that are negative. There's also a lot of positive. There's a lot of people coming to Christ. There's a lot of people standing their ground. So many of our representatives are fighting back for this tyranny that we're experiencing and the chaos of the administration. And it's good to see that. It's good to see that, across the pond, that people are fighting back and things are happening as a result of it. And, none of this stuff makes sense, but we just need to do our part. Like I said, don't get stuck in things that you have no control over. Be active, do what you can, and fight back where you can. Be the voice and be active where you can. Toyka says, my computer screen is frozen on blood types, writing on my phone. That's crazy. I'm telling you, technology is the devil too. It is fighting me something fierce lately, but I'm going to win. Carol says, was this whole COVID thing just to see how many would follow the idiots in power? Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because there's so many yes-yesers out there. There's so many people that follow. And don't question anything. We need to question. We need to. It's no different than somebody coming up to you on the street and saying, here, have some of my candy. You'd question that. I'd hope you'd question that. Oh, gosh. Carol says, because I don't get taking kids away. Well, that's the whole bigger plan, it's no different than what happened in Germany, by ruling the youth, you're ruling your next generation. You're creating your clones, you're creating your drones, you're creating what you want. Yeah. It can become overwhelming. It can become darn right infuriating and frustrating. But the thing is, we've got greater power. We need to use our days well. We need to keep being active. Get out of the indecisive mess and be active. Continue learning things that are going to push you forward, advance you, educate you, provide for your families. We need to be aware of what's happening, though. Don't step away from that. We need to be aware, but so that we can do what we can. Carol says, why not the adults and kids? Something ain't right, I'm telling you. Oh, well, they don't want us because we have the will to think for ourselves. We are already questioning, Exactly. That's why Australia, it is an island, easier to manipulate. That's funny. Yes, very true. Very true. Hey, buddy, I need to... Head's starting to feel wonky. It's probably because of all the stuff I'm saying. They're trying to get me. Oh, Miss Shelley's finally home. Well, welcome back. I am actually going to pop off here. This is funny. It's delayed, so I'm watching on the screen to see if there's any messages, and I'm going like this at myself. That's pretty funny. Oh, you guys get all of me. Yes, you do. All the character that's deep within. All right, wow. No wonder the mountain man laughs at me. All right. Well, these devotions are really powerful, and, we need to accept God's plan. We need to live out of that plan for ourselves. God has a big plan for us all. Keep seeking him. My computer keeps buffering. I'll have to catch the end later. Have a great day, ladies. Love you, lady. Yeah, Shelley says, hi, Carol. Been praying for you all. And, I pray for our community every day as a whole because, enemy's attacking. Evil's out there, and it wants to, he wants to keep us in a negative space as much as possible. So, that's why I'm sharing the things I am. Stay tuned for cooking videos. Stay tuned for food videos. How to calculate the amount of food you need to have on hand. how to go from box cooking to scratch cooking. Lots of things coming. Short videos, educational. They're in the queue. They're getting there. I'm going to be sharing them. Stay tuned. God is really driving me here with what I need to teach, so I am teaching. I thank you guys for joining me here. Thank you all for your liking and sharing and subscribing. Join our community, TrayerWilderness.com/community. Keep standing upright. Keep fighting forward, faithfully forward. Pay attention to what you're thinking, where you're at. Make decisions. Make good decisions. Make decisions out of time spent with God. You know, I seek God for every decision I make, or He implants that decision before I even get that far. Seek Him. Read His Word. Do what you can for yourselves and your families. Protect your families. Pay attention to what's going on so you can. There's a lot happening. Pay attention to it. I'm going to say a prayer here. Papa, I just thank you for this time. I thank you for all that you're doing in the background, how you are turning the evil that's out there into good. I thank you for how you are educating us, providing for us, guiding us, helping us to discern, and just be with us. Give us the courage, the strength, the armor we need to make it through our day-to-day. Help us to protect our families. Help us to make the right decisions. Help us to plant our feet and hold the line. Help us to know that in this time we need to make a difference, that we need to do the right things and not be fearful of what other people think. Do what we are being guided to do through you. And just thank you for this community. Thank you that we can fellowship together. Thank you that we are able to help one another, hold each other up, be there for one another. When one's down, the other can be praying them up. Papa, you've just put us all together. I know you've done it with intention. I thank you for what you're doing in our lives. I thank you for what you're going to do. I thank you for the abundance you're providing in multiple ways for all of us. I thank you for how you are using our superpowers to reach others. You are just doing so much for all of us. Just ask that you be with Carol and her family. They've been going through a lot. Be with Drew, be with Niley and her family, be with little Lorenzo. Just continue to give Carol strength, give her courage, give her good sleep and healing. And just be with all those that are needing your healing hand, Toika and Shelly and Jane. And just be with Jane as she's in Ecuador. And just be with Laura, touch her body too. And just guide and direct us all. Give us the strength and the courage we need to do the things you call us to do, and allow us to be ready and willing to do when you call us. Thank you for what you're going to do. Thank you for loving us. Be with Bobby. She just popped in my mind. Be with Mill. We lift a praise that she's signing papers today. Just thank you for all that you are doing. Thank you for the new client that Diana got. Thank you for just how you are working in this community. Be with Tammy Richards as she's dealing with the loss of her mom, and just all that they've got going on as they're building their homestead. Just strengthen her and give her courage. And just be with Kelly. I know she's going through tough times. Just be with her and strengthen her too. Thank you for loving us. Thank you for what you're going to do. And we just thank you for the promises you've given us and your Son and the Holy Spirit to guide us through these crazy times. We love you and ask all of this in your holy and precious name of Jesus. Amen. All right, guys, I want to encourage you also to boycott Carhartt. I love Carhartt products. I have a ton of Carhartt stuff. Carhartt is expensive, and we've often found other replacements for them, but now I won't ever purchase another thing of theirs because they are mandating the jab with their employees. So, you know, they had the opportunity to stand tall, stand strong, and make a difference, and they bent not supporting them anymore. So pay attention, guys. That's another way that we can make a big difference, is just walk away from these things, not support those that are standing and doing evil. Shelley says, I was up early and did second coat on the wood focal wall I am putting up in my kitchen for my cast iron to hang on. Awesome. You have to put a picture in the community then when you have it finished and you have all of your cast iron hanging. That's one thing I would love, but I don't have the wall space. I might do it behind the wood stove when we get stone on there. That'll look pretty cool. But, and I could do it now, but I think I'll just wait. But I love that look. Love that look. That'll be awesome. So, guys, hang in there. God's got control of this, and we've got great strength in God. You know, be active. Quit being indecisive. Make a decision. Live life. Have fun. You know, we were made for a time like this. I refuse to walk this out without enjoying my life at the same time. I am going to do things that make me happy. I am going to do things that give me joy. At the same time, I'm planting my feet. Be good to yourselves. Take care of yourselves. Pay attention to what's happening. Make a difference. And get active. Do the stuff. Learn new things. Shelly says, when it's done, I will put a picture up for sure. Awesome. All right. Guys, have a fabulous rest of your day. I will see you Monday on Instagram for my Monday Inspiration Live. I'm shooting for 7:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll see if I make it that time. I'm going to try. Yeah. And get ready for a lot of videos. Love you guys. Take care and God bless.